Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. So it is a great pleasure for me to join all of you in opening this Social Protection Week 2019. I believe that about 300 of you coming from government, private sector, academia, NGOs, and also other stakeholders of the social protections. This week is part of our ongoing efforts to support capacity building and also knowledge sharing, and to cultivate partnership to address social protection issues in the region of Asia Pacific. More than 20 sessions have been organized in partnership with 15 development partners to cover various dimensions of social protections, and I believe there will be a special sessions on regional cooperations and capacity development. So we expect these sessions to lead to the formation of regional social protection network to help expand the knowledge base and capacity of countries to design and also to implement their programs. So I'm looking forward to the wide range of sessions focusing on some of the most important social policy issues of our days. Let me start by providing you with a brief overview of some of the latest development in social protection in Asia and Pacific region. In the past decades, the region has continued to make tremendous progress in economic and social development and has been remarkably successful in reducing extreme poverty. Despite this progress, large challenges remain and new ones are emerging. About 264 million people still live in extreme poverty, and around 830 million people live below $3.20 a day. Inequality within and across country remain high. Large group of people continue to struggle for adequate income, decent living conditions, and access to healthcare and essential services. So more needs to be done to help break the intergenerational cycles of poverty, enhance growth through investment in human capital, increase productivity, and also reduce vulnerability to risk. Last year, we in ADB released ADB Strategy 2030, which has 7 operational priorities. The first operational priority is addressing remaining poverty and reducing inequality. Investing in human capital development and social protection is key to achieving this. Our focus on social protection is aligned with the International Agenda 2030 for SDG, and it's called to leave no one behind. The SDGs recognize the importance of social protections and call upon countries to develop nationally appropriate social protection measures for all, especially the poor and also the vulnerable. It is encouraging to see the positive momentum and response in our regions. More and more governments, in collaborations with development partners, are placing social protections at the core of their development agenda. ADB's latest Social Protection Indicator Report, published in July this year, 2019, show that there has been significant progress in expanding social protections across the Asia and Pacific region. Many of ADB developing member countries are reforming, strengthening, and expanding social protections policies and programs to support the poor and also the vulnerable. Spending on social protection in Asia has increased moderately from 4% to 5.3% of GDP, while in the Pacific, spending has increased from 4% in 2005 to 6% in 2015. Some of ADB developing member countries have rapidly scaled up social assistance schemes that empower families to invest in human capital and break the cycle of intergenerational poverty. For example, the Philippine Conditional Cash Transfer Program, the Pantawid Pamilyang Filipino Program, supported by ADB and other development partners, has expanded significantly since its inception in 2008. Coverage has increased from over 300,000 households in 2008 to 4.4 million households in 2017. The program has been instrumental in reducing poverty, keeping children in school, and encouraging healthy behaviors among children and women. The program was modeled after a similar program in Latin America, which have been quite successful over the past 25 years in reducing extreme poverty, improving health outcomes for children, and increasing school attendance. Another equally promising component of social protection is social insurance. In recent years, Thailand and the Maldives have established universal pension programs and expanded health coverage. Mongolia and the People's Republic of China have achieved universal pension coverage, while Vietnam and Indonesia are progressing steadily toward universal health coverage. Some countries are investing in youth employment, which will help harness the potential of human capital in terms of wealth and savings, leading to large economic and social gains. Jobstart in Philippines, supported by ADB, promotes skill enhancement through formal or technical training to help young Filipinos respond to the demands of job market and start their careers. Despite considerable progress, social protection systems in the region are still very limited. Around half of the population has no social protection support, just as the umbrella logo on the backdrop of our event today covers only half of the people underneath. Many countries still face great challenges in creating the sustainable financing needed for their social protection programs. One aspect of the limitation is manifest in the missing middle, who lack social protections. 3 years ago, during our first Asia-Pacific Social Protection Week, we spoke about the region's missing middle. They represent 2.2 billion people who do not qualify as extreme poor. Rather, they are primarily employed in the informal sector and have minimal protections against unemployment, illness, disability, and old age. This issue remains a major challenge, and there has been limited progress to date. Another aspect of the limitation in social protection today is highlighted in the ADB monitoring results. The studies in select Asia and Pacific countries found that social protection spending favors the non-poor segment of the population over the poor, and men over women. This finding highlights the need for more inclusive, better design, and also better implemented social protection system. I would like to outline 5 key areas to strengthen social protections in the regions and highlight examples of successful policies and programs already being implemented. First is on the financing gap. To address the low level of government investment in social protections, many countries will have to revise their policies and also open new fiscal space. An ADB study conducted in 16 developing member countries found that upper middle income countries such as Malaysia, the People's Republic of China, Thailand, Vietnam should be able to meet their social protection agenda within the limit of their current fiscal deficit. Other middle income countries will need to open up new fiscal space to meet minimum requirement for social protection funding. And lower middle income countries such as Timor-Leste will have to make trade-off among different social protection investment given their fiscal constraint. Potential sources of revenue mobilization for this country include improving tax collection, reallocating energy subsidies, and employing natural resource taxes. Governments, civil society, and other development partners need to immediately start long-term fiscal and financial planning for implementing the social protection agenda. Countries should also create national policy dialogues for designing national social protection system, conduct budget and revenue reviews, and also support capacity building for social protection planning, administration, and implementations. Through our discussion this week, I do hope that you will share other innovative options for financing and also implementation of social protection programs and also projects. Second recommendation is on social insurance. Extending social insurance is especially pertinent given the dual dynamics of rapid population aging and a growing youth population in our region. We must ensure social protection for older persons, and we need systems, services, and financing to support young people throughout their lifetime, including as they leave school and enter the workforce. As I mentioned earlier, some countries have successfully introduced universal health care insurance that includes support for the elderly. Others are starting to develop long-term care systems and services. More countries must prepare and adapt to these changing demographic realities. There is also innovative response, such as the new initiative by the government of Indonesia to introduce a pre-employment card, a scheme to help youth enter the labor market. The pre-employment card holders will get access to vocational training and competency certifications and an incentive upon completing the training and also certifications. Third, we need to expand the coverage of social protections and promote inclusiveness. Social assistance is the main social protection instrument that supports the poor and also vulnerable in the regions. However, its effectiveness is often limited due to system fragmentations, partial coverage, and limited size of benefit. It often leaves disadvantaged women and children without protection against the multiple risks to which they are exposed throughout their lives. People who work in the informal sector, persons with disabilities, and those living with HIV are also being left behind as they do not yet have access to adequate social protections such as health coverage. There is a need to transform program into system that can adapt to current and future demographic, technological, and geospatial dynamics with a strong focus on women empowerment and inclusions. During our event this week, we will hear an example of promising effort to strengthen social assistance, such as the one in Indonesia through Family Hope Program. This program expands support to vulnerable population, including those residing in remote and disadvantaged regions. We are also happy to partner with the Global Action on Disability Network, GLAD, and UNAIDS in 2 sessions to discuss ways to extend social protection system to persons living with disabilities or HIV. Fourth, we must strengthen climate and disaster resilience. The Asia and Pacific region is especially susceptible to the risk of disaster and climate change. In fact, 7 of the 10 countries with the highest estimated disaster risk globally are ADB developing member countries. An example, as you can see in the photos, is the damage left by Typhoon Haiyan or Yolanda that hit the Philippines in 2013. The poor are disproportionately exposed to natural hazards and climate change. Social protection should be integral to disaster risk management because it can strengthen resilience of vulnerable communities and protect people from adverse social and economic impacts. ADB and its development partner have mobilized substantial resources to support climate change actions, and from 2011 to 2017, ADB approved over $25 billion in climate financing. Fifth, advances in technology, such as the rapid development of robotics and AI, or artificial intelligence, will certainly contribute to economic productivity, but will likely have adverse implications for some workers' well-being. A recent ADB study suggests that technological change may result in loss of jobs and income, but it may also create demand for new occupations as well as for skills and competencies that workers do not yet possess. We will learn more about these issues and the role of social protections in mitigating adverse impacts in the sessions on changing world of work. I look forward to hearing from the representative of the private sector, the ILO, development partners, and also government representative on these subjects. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to end my remarks of our latest innovative approaches in advancing the social protection agenda in the regions. We in ADB have helped pilot the graduation approach that combines the Philippines Conditional Cash Transfer Program with the livelihood and coaching support, designed Mongolia's first fully focused disability project, and developed comprehensively elderly care system in People's Republic of China, Hebei, and Hubei provinces. We have also initiated a regional technical assistance on financing of social protection and developed social protection indicators report for 38 countries. ADB will advance innovations in technology such as the planned Tonga Pacific Digital Health and e-government project to improve efficiency, transparency, and also accountability in the health sector. We will also continue to strengthen effort toward building climate and disaster resilience among vulnerable populations. Lastly, we will adopt a differentiated approach to addressing the diversity of needs in countries and vulnerable populations, such as youth unemployment in South and Southeast Asia and system restructuring and consolidation in Central and West Asia regions. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to encourage you to tap into the knowledge that ADB has built on this issue, on the social protection issues. And as you can see on the screen, some of our recent key publications. Please feel free to access and download them. They are free online. There will be also a booth outside that display all our knowledge product. So feel free again to access them. So I hope in the next few days, you can work together to find the right solutions for some of the key questions and also challenges related to social protection, such as first, what are the financing alternatives for expanding social protection? Second, how can we enhance social protections to better address the needs of workers in the digital economy era? And third, how can we strengthen climate and disaster resilience through social protections? And final one, four, how can we make social protection more inclusive to the poor and vulnerable, including persons with disabilities and also HIV and AIDS? So again, thank you for your participation and engagement. Once again, welcome to the Asia Pacific Social Protection Week 2019. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice President Bambang Susantono, for the keynote speech with an update on the progress in promoting social protection in Asia and the Pacific region, and also the remaining challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, the Asia Pacific Social Protection Week is only made possible through strong collaboration with 15 partner organizations that we have today. I would like to take this opportunity to show our deep appreciation for their strong support and participation. One of our key partners in the organization of the event is the United Nations Economic and Social Commissions for Asia and the Pacific, or UNESCAP. The UNESCAP has been quite active in promoting social protection in the region as a tool to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. And we are honored today. In our next program, we will have a video message from the Executive Secretary of the UNESCAP, Ms. Armida Salsia Alishabana, to deliver her keynote speech. Thank you.
Distinguished participants, I would like to express my appreciation to the Asian Development Bank for hosting the Asia Pacific Social Protection Week 2019 in Manila. With more than 60% of the population in Asia and the Pacific living without adequate social protection coverage, we have yet to secure the future of our region. As our societies remain greatly exposed to the economic, social, and environmental risks, strengthening social protection systems would impact on reducing income poverty among older women and for children. Enabling inclusive social protection for all could significantly reduce growing risk of inequality, protect the vulnerable from exclusion and deprivation, and buffer populations from the adverse effects of shocks and crises. Our analysis shows that at least 233 million more people could be lifted out of poverty by 2030 if developing countries of the region increase their investments in social protection to reach the global average of 11.2% of GDP. Currently, developing countries in the Asia-Pacific region spend only 3.7% of GDP on social protection. With this fast-changing development landscape of the region, member states of the United Nations Economic and Social Commission for Asia and the Pacific emphasize the need to strengthen regional cooperation on social protection to deliver on the promise of the 2030 Agenda. We are taking concrete steps to engage governments, regional development institutions, the private sector, civil society, and other partners. In 2019, a group of experts consisting of government representatives has been established with the objective of developing a modality for strengthening social protection cooperation in the region. UNSCAP and ILO serve as the joint secretariat of this group. We will soon have agreed on a regional modality that will strengthen political commitment to developing, implementing, and financing comprehensive and sustainable social protection systems for all. We hope that partners such as the Asian Development Bank and other development banks and institutions will join us in the implementation of this regional modality as and when it comes into force. I urge member states to share their social protection policy experiences, to learn from each other's work, which would strengthen the implementation of legislations and policies. UNSCAP's regional platform and other regional fora could continue to play a pivotal role in sharing knowledge and capacity building support to make social protection systems more effective and universal. We must put people first and build a robust and forward-looking regional cooperation architecture to increase coverage and relevance of social protection systems in Asia and the Pacific. I'm looking forward to hearing the outcome of your event and to joining forces with all of you to accelerate this work on social protection for all. UNSCAP is committed to supporting this initiative through stronger partnerships. Achievement of a transformed and resilient society in our region depends on it. I wish you a very successful week ahead. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue with our program this morning, please allow me a few minutes to just go over some highlights of our event in the next 4 days. We will have a full 4 days event with 26 sessions covering a wide range of social protection. I encourage you, if you haven't done so, to download the ADB event app where you can get the latest update of the program, the list of speakers, and even copies of the presentations, and also the list of participants to help you with your networking. Now I would like to turn to our program. The program today will be all plenary sessions. The purpose is to give or provide a big picture on the key issues related to social protection and how some countries are responding to those issues. We will begin with a high-level panel that will discuss the issues of the importance of social protection in building human capital. We will hear today the experience of Pakistan and the Philippines in implementing those programs. We will continue with a brief tour around the region and beyond to discuss about efforts to expand social protection. After lunch today, we will discuss more deeply about various options in financing social protection. We will hear two different experiences. One is from a young nation of Timor-Leste, and the second one is a different experience from a large middle-income country of Indonesia. The event today, we will end with a keynote speech by Dr. Naila Kabir, the 2019 ADB Gender Distinguished Speaker, who will speak about the importance of gender approach in social protection. And we will end our program today with a cocktail party, so you all are invited to join us. For tomorrow's program, again, we will start with plenary session. We will have a keynote speech by the Regional Director of ILO, Ms. Tomoko Nishimoto, who will speak about the employment issues and the anticipated changes of the future of work. Then we will continue with that theme on employment, on how to expand social protections in the digital economy. There will be a representative from private sector, from Grab Singapore, who will share the experience on implementing the social protection in the company. The other interesting topics that we will discuss tomorrow is on the issue of social protection in addressing food security and malnutrition. This session will discuss the highlights of a joint report by FAO, UNICEF, WHO, and the World Food Programme on the regional state of food security and nutrition. The second half of the day, we will drill down into breakout sessions on various aspects of social protection. We will discuss about conditional cash transfers. We will discuss about child benefit. We will also discuss about universal health coverage. We will also discuss some of the innovations in social protection, such as the graduation approach, the micro-insurance and community-based financing in social protection, and also the use of ICT in social protection program and how it helped increase efficiency and transparency and accessibility of social protections. We are glad to partner with the Global Action on Disability GLAD Network and UNAIDS in 2 sessions that will discuss issues in promoting the participation of persons with disabilities and HIV/AIDS in social protections. We are happy today to welcome representatives of 18 disability organizations to our event. So in short, we have a very packed program, so I would like to get started, and I would like to invite now the Director General for ADB Southeast Asia Regional Department, Mr. Ramesh Subramaniam, to moderate and lead the next sessions on the importance of social protections in building human capital. Mr. Subramaniam, the floor is yours.